I think that's why I'm so excited, is because I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the GOAT. And now you're going to the baby GOAT who's been, all the eyes are on her all around the world. And so it's just kind of a cool experience.
In her most recent interview since joining the Fever, Sophie Cunningham stated, "She's changed our game in the best possible way." Meanwhile, detractors and haters continue to minimize the impact of Caitlin Clark. Cunningham's frank evaluation from the viewpoint of a veteran is quite credible.
I am joined by Indiana Fever's Sophie Cunningham. And I just said Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham. You have been with the Phoenix Mercury for 6 years, now heading over to Indiana for the 2025 season. What does that feel like? How has that transition been?
However, there's another, even more telling, quote from a New York Post interview. "I've been that feisty player my entire career." Cunningham isn't just coming to Indiana to shoot threes. She's coming to be the enforcer this young team sorely needs for Clark, who has faced unprecedented physical defense. Having a teammate who isn't afraid to push back could be the difference between good and great. Are you prepared to learn more about what Sophie just said? If so, leave a remark below with Sophie and a CC, and let's go.
Oh, it is so funny that you even said that, because I'm still I'm so excited, but I'm still not used to it, just because I've been drafted out here. I've been here for 6 years. And so a couple weeks ago, I threw on the Indiana jersey for the first time, and everyone's saying I'm a Fever. And so I'm like, oh, I gotta get used to the new me, which I love. I'm so excited for. I think it's just such a great opportunity. I'm excited to play with the players that are there, play under the coaching staff that's there. And so I think this is just a new and exciting era for me. And everyone that I kind of...
Did you know that the Indiana Fever only had 5 victories a few years ago, which put them at the bottom of the league? That's the hole they're trying to escape, and it's deeper than most people think. They then had a miserable 13-win, 27-loss record, even though they had already selected Aaliyah Boston with the 2023 first overall pick at the time. This wasn't just a poor season for the Fever. It was a glaring indication that something fundamental needed to change in Indianapolis.
I think Indy, those my year 1 through 3.5. Well, let me just say this. I went through my 7 years in Indy. I've had 4 head coaches. So that within itself was kind of like, no one really knows what an experience of the black stick at the bottom. Trust me, I've been there. Trust me. So I was, that's really how it started,
Consider the implications for a franchise at its lowest point. In a league where attention is already scarce, the Fever weren't just losing games. They were also losing relevance. Their performance was so worrisome that it became clear to everyone watching that a complete roster overhaul wasn't just desirable, but also vital for survival
when y'all left, it was still a rebuild stage. So different coaches got hired. And I think that at that point, Delby was trying to figure out whether I was keep swimming or if I would sink individually. I'll be honest. I didn't know what would happen in my career. I didn't know how it would turn out, because the points were the points. The accolades were accolades. But it wasn't enough.
That team winning. Team, not individual, team.
Yeah. And anybody that wanted to compete and be a winner,
it's about team.
When the 2024 draft rolls around, everything changes all at once. Feverland was selected first, and with it came Caitlin Clark, arguably the most important rookie in WNBA history. Suddenly, the team that no one was paying attention to became the team that everyone was talking about. But this is where things get complicated, because the spotlight brings heat. The critics and skeptics didn't waste any time wondering if Clark's skill set would translate to the professional level and if this young team could truly compete with the league's powerhouses. These concerns weren't just coming from random social media accounts. They were valid worries from basketball analysts who saw a talented rookie entering a situation that still had significant flaws.
Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
When the 2024 season began, those early blunders only served to heighten the criticism of the team, which at times struggled to find chemistry. Clark was getting physically dominated in many games, with opposing teams seemingly taking turns attempting to welcome her to the league with extra contact. The Fever's weaknesses were on full display. They lacked toughness, their shooting was inconsistent, and most obviously, they had no enforcer or veteran presence to stand up when things got physical. It became painfully clear that talent alone wasn't going to cut it. They needed more than just skilled players. They needed battle-tested veterans who knew what it took to win at the highest level. They needed players who wouldn't falter under the intense scrutiny that comes with having a star like Clark on the roster.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position. And I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
The Fever management responded by purchasing a buffet of veteran talent, including Sophie Cunningham, in what may turn out to be one of the most calculated rebuilds in recent WNBA history. Bonner, Dana, not just any veterans. Sydney Colson and Natasha Howard were players who had competed in championship settings, understood pressure, and could impart to the younger core what it truly takes to win.
It's a wonderful fresh start for you. But before we look ahead, I kind of want to look back on your experience in Phoenix. Like you said, you were drafted there. You spent the last 6 seasons with the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, who just announced her retirement. What have you learned from her?
Oh man, I think we could sit here for days if we really went into that. But at the end of the day, I think that Dee is one of the best humans I've ever met. She has one of the best hearts. The way she not only thinks about life, but the game is just on a whole nother level.
While the Fever front office planned these moves behind closed doors, no one anticipated the bombshell Cunningham would drop during her media tour. Of all these veteran additions, no one made a louder entrance than Sophie Cunningham. Most veterans tiptoe around praising rookies out of fear of building them up too quickly, but Sophie took a completely different approach that left basketball analysts stunned.
But you went from playing with a true legend of the game to now a rising legend of the game in Caitlin Clark in Indiana. What is it about her? What have you observed about Caitlin Clark now that you're going to be one of her teammates?
After years in Phoenix, when things haven't always been easy, Cunningham boldly declared in her open New York Post interview that she was made for this moment. Sophie viewed this transaction as a turning point in her career and said, "I believe it has prepared me for something bigger and better." Her remarks resonated like a rallying cry for the entire franchise as she highlighted the stage we're going to be on with the players I'm about to be with.
It was exactly what Cunningham needed after she got, quote, too comfortable across 6 seasons in Phoenix. Now she tells the New York Post that she's equipped to thrive in the spotlight while playing alongside Fever superstar Caitlin Clark. Quote, "I think that since I've been out here in Phoenix, it hasn't always been easy," Cunningham, 28, said while discussing a partnership with Quest Nutrition. "There have been a lot of trials. There's been a lot of lessons learned, a lot of experiences that I thought was just like any WNBA team. But I think it's built me. It's made me tougher. It's tested my persistence and my mental quite a bit."
Cunningham acknowledged the roller coaster nature of professional sports and that it won't always be sunshine and butterflies. She also acknowledged demonstrating remarkable self-awareness, acknowledging that every season has its own thing. Her genuine voice conveys exactly what she'll bring to the locker room. There is no sugarcoating, just honest talk. This is what makes Cunningham's comments so refreshing.
"I think it's built for me something bigger and better in the stage that we're about to be on with the players that I'm about to be with. I think I am built for this." So she's telling you she's ready. Did you pick up on the "I think it's made me tougher"? Because look, they're not only going to come after Caitlin Clark, they're going to come after Miss Cunningham too. That is a fact. Unfortunately for her, I have a feeling she's not going to back down from me.
Ironically, Sophie and Clark had a lighthearted exchange at the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, during which I said, "Hey, if you ever want to come to Phoenix, let me know." Laughing, Cunningham said, "That one kind of backfired on me." The basketball gods had other ideas, and Sophie was sent directly to Indianapolis.
Fame put the team under a microscope, which opened the floodgates for scrutiny and constant attention. The Fever had to increase security when they drafted the Hawkeyes legend. None of that is intimidating to Cunningham. Here we go. And she's already said she's tough. Now we know she's not intimidated. Who's ready to chase a championship with a new look Fever? Quote, I think that's why they brought in a lot of veterans who have that experience, Cunningham said. And I'm not saying that they have the experience of hundreds of millions of followers watching you, watching your every step, but I do feel like they brought an experience of how to gel in the locker room.
The most impactful aspect of Cunningham's media tour was her vehement defense of Clark. She discussed the rookie's shoulders and pointed out that many people haven't been in her shoes, so it's easy to criticize her. Her readiness to publicly defend Clark sends a strong message.
I'm refocused. There's a different type of vibe and energy about me, she said. I think I'm always kind of happy-go-lucky, go with the flow, and I'm still that. But I'm also, ready to dial in and get a championship because that's something I haven't done yet, so I'm going to do anything in my power to help the team do that. It's time for me to level up. Very interesting indeed. So she's ready.
Cunningham is very aware of what this Fever team requires. She conveyed her sincere enthusiasm for Indiana's ball-sharing scheme, which was designed to complement Clark's skillful passing and Sophie's acute shooting. She sees the full picture of what makes this squad unique.
He's making it clear she's ready, joining this squad. And look, remember when Cheryl Swoops and some of the other media was like, I don't know if any players are going to want to join Caitlin Clark. Boy, that turned out to be some fraudulent activity, did it not, by the media?
After spending 6 seasons with one of the most scrutinized players in WNBA history, Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark's basketball relationship isn't just another veteran rookie duo. Rather, it was forged in the shadow of Diana Taurasi. Sophie gained a unique perspective that most veterans simply don't have, and Clark needs this hard-earned wisdom about navigating the blinding spotlight because she is subjected to unprecedented attention at every turn.
She has that same mindset that Dee has, and I've learned a lot on how to become a pro and how to get to where I want to be with Dee every single day and how she just does things. You know, I was a sponge around her. I saw her habits, her do's and her don'ts. And I think when you have someone like Caitlin, she doesn't really need a lot of help, right? Like she already knows how to play the game. She knows where she wants to be. She has an itch and a willingness to do whatever it takes to win.
The chemistry that is growing between them on the court is what makes their collaboration unique to Cunningham's remarkable 40% success rate from beyond the arc in 2022 is a wonderful addition to Clark's passing skills. Imagine this situation. Clark drives for the basket, attracting defensive assistance as she sees with a swift flick of the wrist, Cunningham, who is positioned in the corner, zips the ball to Sophie, who is left open as defenders attempt to contain Clark's bucket. This exact sequence has already occurred several times during preseason play.
I do love the offense we're going to be playing. It's a motion offense. I feel like I haven't played in a motion offense since college, and so it's going to be run and gun, kick and shoot, lots of threes.
A defender who stays close to Cunningham can't help against Clark's drives, and one who assists leaves a 40% three-point shooter unguarded, giving Indiana a definite advantage. Cunningham's spacing changes the Fever offense. Her threat from three-point range forces defenders to stay close, creating passing lanes for Clark to find other teammates. Cunningham's passion for Indiana's system is especially noteworthy. She expressed her excitement about joining a motion-based offense that emphasizes ball movement and sharing, saying, "I'm ready to dial in and get a championship."
I want to have a lot of fun with her. I want to win a lot of ball games. I want to win championships with her, but I also want to make sure that she's good off the court as well. And so I'm hoping that she leans on me if she wants it. And I think that's why I'm so excited, is because I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the GOAT. And now you're going to the baby GOAT, who's been, all the eyes are on her all around the world. And so it's just kind of a cool experience for everybody.
The real importance of this cooperation is demonstrated during timeouts and after difficult losses, when Sophie's years with Taurasi taught her how to control expectations. Ignore the commotion and perform under duress, as Clark is subjected to extraordinary scrutiny. Having a veteran who is aware of this particular pressure could be the difference between her buckling and thriving. Sophie's claim of winning a championship wasn't just the excitement of a new player. Rather, it was a well-considered evaluation based on what Indiana's front office has meticulously put together. When you look at their roster transformation, what once seemed like an absurd claim suddenly appears to be a genuine blueprint for success.